Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a good day. I just want to give you guys a quick little update on my life situation right now. As you've seen, I haven't posted in a while. It has been very difficult here with my wife going through um, what they call Guillain-Barré in French. There is a term for it in English. It's Guillain-Barré. And anyway, so it's been very demanding here at the household. Painting has taken a side note and videos as well. Anyways, I've written it down. I had written it on my community tab, and some of you had written best wishes in that. So thank you very much for that. I just want to give you a quick update before we get painting the crew from the Nemesis Lockdown box. I know this is an older game, but it was fun to paint. Plus, I did a little something different where I used Mechanicus Standar Grey as the primer and then did my dry brush of white, or heavy dry brush of white, over these miniatures to really see how speed paints would act with that, since I loved how it came out with a light gray and a dry brush of white. So, all with that said, let's get to the video, let's get to the table, and start painting. Alright, so let's get ready to paint these guys. And what I did is I used a Mechanicus Standar Grey, which is a dark gray primer, and then I dry brushed a matte white over it. So sort of like I did with a couple of the last Marvel Zombies. What I want to do is try with a darker primer, not black, but a darker gray, and then do the white to see how speed paints work over that, because we've seen that it is an awesome combination with a light gray and a white over it. Now we're going to try with a dark gray over a white, because the dark gray is going to make it recesses a little bit darker, right? Which is what we want, and especially in these kind of miniatures here. And just before I continue on with that, I just want to mention that the first part of this video is actually me going through and figuring out based on their card colors, because you can only choose a certain character. You can only have a certain, like, one character of each type, especially if you have the previous game or the other expansions and stuff from Nemesis. You can only have one type of character. Okay, so then there's different colors for them. And so what I did is I picked the color of the speed paints and put that on some of their outfits somewhere. So like this one, I took a red, which was Slaughter Red, and I put it on this character. Whereas this one here, his card was blue, so I went with the High Lord blue and put his pants that color. So you're only going to see this at the beginning, so I'm actually doing it separately. And originally I was going to make the video where I paint them all up like in a batch painting style, but I ended up liking more taking each character after I did this color and going through each one and painting them up. So at least this way you also get to see each character, how they're painted, what colors to use for each one, and so on and so forth. And like this one here, I think this is the hacker. He was a green card, so I went with a dark green. And at the end, or afterwards, I'm not going to show on screen, is I actually took a Warpaint's Fanatic color that matched sort of similar to this color and rimmed the base with it. So this person, the card was more of a grayish black, so that's why I went with the Grim Black on top of this. It came out looking a little bit more gray, which is great, but as you'll really notice where the primer and the dry brush really pop on the Grim Black, because again, the gray gets covered up and stays a little bit darker, but the white areas that are highlighted actually pop a lot more in this fashion. And a lot of the speed paint colors, you're going to notice that right off the bat, is that anywhere where it was white, it is more bright, and I like that. So it's not your black, gray, white, it's not your black and white, it's just a gray and white. Now I wonder how this would work on other primers. I've tried it before. I think I've done red or blue and brown. I think I've done like that, but I'm trying to see if I can think of maybe some other colors, maybe airbrush some zenithal highlights over a black primer, but like a darker, like a dark red or a dark gray, or I don't know, no, sorry, dark brown or something, and then come back with a white on top of that and see how that works. Maybe I'll try that. But as you heard in the intro, I will be having a harder time getting videos out there. Life has fun with us and this family, health-wise, so I will be trying to paint once in a while, but I'm going to be probably taking more of a break. But enjoy all the rest of my videos. Keep out there, keep watching them, keep my channel going for me, folks. And if I can have the time to paint and post videos, I will. I might also just paint on the side, and that's it. All right, we're starting off now with the Survivor. We're going to be painting all of her right now, and we're starting off with the Rigor Mortis color, which I seem to have found a nice skin tone, I find, to make it really pale. And at the bottom here, you're going to notice my background changes because, again, I was painting this over almost, I think, 2 weeks, almost a week and a half between hospital visits and all sorts of stuff like that. Anyways, I know this is probably, you're watching this like in the way future and you're like, what, is there something wrong? No, this is in 2024. And anyways, we're getting good. It's coming along slowly, but we're getting there. Ashen Stone now for a couple parts on this character. I used it on her pistol there to make it like a gray looking pistol, and her mask that she has on, even though her mask was black, I decided to go with the white. I don't know why. I changed it up a little bit there. Pallet bone for some of the straps and the belts and stuff like that, and the pouches. I found a pallet bone was a good light leather color. And then warrior skin for the other leather stuff, like some more straps and her boots and even the backpack. And it's amazing, the warrior skin, how it comes out with this Mechanicus Standar Grey primer and the white. Look at how the lines where the white dry brush came out is just popping, and you don't even need to do highlights on this. I was on Facebook the other day, someone's like, oh, if I use speed paints, should I use war paints also to highlight and stuff? And I almost felt like writing, not if you do this technique, but the video wasn't out yet, so I might go back, copy this one and send it to that person, because I'll be like, look, this, if you want to save a lot of time, this is a great method. And so now we're painting the Sentry now with some Gravelord Gray. Again, this guy was interesting. Now he's got this like what do you call, the solar blanket on him, and I tried to reproduce that later on. You're gonna see it didn't really work what my technique was, but I mean, you can always try and do something else with it afterwards. But again, these miniatures, they're heavily detailed, but I find they're very bunched up, so a lot of the details are all caught up together. So speed painting them is almost the best way. I've seen some really nice jobs out there, paint jobs, and my hat's off to these people, but I don't have the patience for that. Broadsword silver, and I think I skipped a color there by accident. I think there was grim black on the boots, then some other color. It was like a Thunderbird blue on his the visor there on the hat. And now this is where I'm trying to do that solar shield, or solar blanket, with the fairy dust mixed into some battleship gray. And the point was that the fairy dust, especially the air one, is very thin down, so it was very easy to water it down, was to be able to create the shiny effect of it, but it didn't really do that. So anyways, as you can see, I'm speed painting through this. Just there's not much little details. There are some, but anyway, the hacker has a little bit more here. There's some things that are a little bit longer. Again, I'll come back to the grim black. So see, if you are batch painting this, if you go through this video, you could be like, okay, so I need grim black for boots on this guy, boots on that guy, the outfit on the Xenobiologist. You know, you can not follow exactly what I'm doing, but if you want to just look at one character in particular, there will be timestamps in the description, and hopefully they'll show up as you play along. Hey, and don't forget to check out my new Facebook page, okay? Easterlings Tabletop Miniatures on Facebook. Go and follow that, please. I'd like to get like 100 followers. I'm up to 35, I think, right now. And I share stuff from other creators. I post stuff. I put pictures up that I don't necessarily have. A little bit of fun on there. I ask questions. I put polls up. It keeps my community going, and that I can do from my phone. So if I'm just sitting with my wife or whatever, we can just or she's falling asleep, I can quickly check on that. It's a lot of fun for me to just have the Facebook page going. So go take a look at that. All right, Easterlings Tabletop Miniatures on Facebook. Satchel Brown now for some of the this big wire that's hanging from his device here. And as you see, I left some of the pad not painted because I will be using a glow color. Yep, one of the effects from Paint Fanatics, so you'll see how that comes out as well. And I'm actually using the Nuclear Sunrise. I seem to be having less of that problem with the little sparkly spots or the little things that were showing up on other people's, but it was originally, and then as you shake it up more and more, I think they just disappear. So be patient with Nuclear Sunrise. Plasmatic Bolt now is gonna be for his like armor, kind of, well, not armor, but knee pads and the other clothing. I did find an image online of the, like, because having the pictures on the artwork were so dark you could only see a couple colors, and I tried finding some stuff online, so I found a couple pictures online that inspired me to paint them the way they are. And if you saw, also my Patreon page popped up there. If you guys want to see some exclusive content, you want to see videos in advance, go there, become a patron, and it supports me. And you can also become a YouTube member at the same time as well, or one of the others, and it'll help support this channel, which at this time could really use that, folks. Gunner Camo is another color here, and then we're using that data system glow on his pads. It's kind of neat, looks really cool. Moving on to our next miniature is the Xenobiologist, who again was done with the Grim Black to represent the color of her card. We're using now Mummified Grime. I never used this as skin color, but she had very dark skin color. I could have used Noble Warrior, but Noble Warrior is extremely dark. It's almost black, and I didn't want it to be too dark, especially with her whole coat being so dark. And she has a lot of light clothing. Her hair is white, so it was very hard to figure out this miniature. I mean, it's not the best looking miniature, and the gray and white on the white stuff doesn't do too much. But the Broadsword Silver I find does a good job. There's not much coloration. The actual Mummified Grime did a good job on the skin in the end. This Occultist Cloak, I didn't use much of it. I did for boots. It's actually pretty good with the dry brushing again. Again, try it, okay, guys? Look at how the Grim Black on the back dried up, and you can really see the light areas pop with that. Holy White for the hair, a little bit of Brazen Copper now for this other wire on her bionic arm. A little bit of radiation glow on wherever she was holding, and something in her case that was glowing on the picture here. So I was like, okay, let's make it glow. And then we move on to the Janitor now, who pretty much was already all painted just with the yellow. I used it originally, and now coming in with some Crusader skin. All he had was his face. I thought maybe his hands were showing, but no, it's gloves. Some Fire Drake, yeah, for leather, by the way, for leather boots, for light leather colors, like dirty color boots, and some of the straps and all sorts of other stuff. Really good on top of the gray and white. I find it does a really good job. And then the Goddess Glow on his flamethrower here, I just found it was like, oh yeah, you know what, this is going to be really cool. Sometimes I use it, I've used this for skin before too, but on the gun it looks really neat. The Aged Hide now coming in with some of this for the more leather parts, and it makes those parts pop a little bit more on the miniature. Makes it a little bit more rugged. I do his gloves with that, do the knee pads with that. Just some little areas here and there. Then we move on to Bony Matter for his shirt, just so that it's like a little bit yellow, dirty. Then Thunderbird Blue for the canister, I guess where the gas is, or where the flame, I don't know, how does the flamethrower work? I don't even remember. And then some Camo Cloak for the whole big canister on his back. I don't go into a ton of details with these guys because there's just no point. They look amazing just like that. Then we're moving on to the Lab Rat, who, someone explain this to me. If you've played Nemesis Lockdown, I'm trying to figure out the Lab Rat. I haven't looked up her lore. She has this massive gun. To me, it looks like a gun. And she's got mechanical legs. She's blind, I'm assuming, because she's got wrappings on her eyes. What the heck happened to this thing? I don't understand what happened to her. I mean, is she tiny? And that's why she's a lab rat? I don't know. Or is that gun just massively huge and she's super strong and like this is what she uses? Anyways, I'm going to look into it. But if you guys have the lore and you want to explain it, write in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys when you guys know more about these miniatures than I do. I love hearing that. I love reading it. I love commenting to you guys. So hey, the more comments too, the more likes these videos are going to get put out there. So the Tyrian Navy I used for her legs. She had like a again, in the artwork, you can't really see on the card, so I was going back and forth looking for some images online to give me some inspiration, and what I found was that she had like a dark blue armor kind of thing on the legs, or like maybe it was just lighting, but I found it came out really good with the Tyrian navy, and her hair was like a dirty blonde brownish color, so that's why I went with that. Came back to the ashen stone again here, but this time on all her, it looks like she's straight jackets. That's what I'm saying. Like, this lady was cuckoo in there or something, and I don't know. Howling sand just for the bandana or the bandage on her eyes, and then come back to some purple swarm now just for the holder on the gun, and then some power node glow on some of the parts of the gun just to make them glow a little bit, and they do a good job. And there you have it, folks. Nemesis Lockdown. The crew is painted, ready to take on some Xenos or some aliens and a whole bunch of cool things. Anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. And I hope to see you soon again in another video. Take care. We'll see you in the next one.